Okay, this is a quick little video on how to find the number of students infected with flu at a high school after T days, and it's modeled by the following function. P of T is equal to 300 divided by 1 plus 24e raised to the negative 0.2 t power, where t is the number of days. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find the initial number of students infected, and you see the answer is 12, but let me show you how you got that. So what we're going to do is in our graphing calculator, I'm going to use the TI-84 for this one. On our home screen, I'm going to put in 300, and I'm going to divide it by the bottom sum. So I'm going to divide it by, and I'm going to put this in parentheses, 1 plus 24 times e. So to get the e button, we go second ln. And I'm going to raise e to the negative 0.2 times t power, but our t is initial, so our t is 0, so we're going to multiply that by 0, subbing 0 in for t. And if I hit enter on this, we should get 12 students. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and graph it. And to graph this, I'm going to first clear this out so you can see how I typed it in. And in y1, I'm going to put in the function 300, and I'm going to divide it by, again, I'm going to put this bottom in parentheses, 1 plus 24 times e, so second ln, to the negative 0.2, and we're just going to use x for t. And I'm going to close my parenthesis. And since we are finding, go back to the story problem here, since we're finding that school will close when 200 of the 300 students infected, and we're finding out how many days until the school closes, I'm going to put a horizontal line at 200. So in my graphing calculator at y2, I'm going to type in 200, and that'll just be a horizontal line. Okay, so before I do anything, I'm probably going to have to set my window. So my x-min can be whatever it wants to be, so I'll just make it -5. My x-max, again, you can just kind of guess here, but I'm going to make it 30. And I'm going to count by 5s on the x-axis. My y-min, I made -5. And since I have a horizontal line at 200, I made my y-max 300 so that we could see it for sure. And I counted by 10s. So if I graph this, we should see the function coming up, and then we should also see the horizontal line. So one way to find their point of intersection is to just use the trace key and trace until we get to where the two graphs intersect. So according to the trace, it's about 19.57 it looks like. Now that's not very accurate, but it's a close approximation, because if you look at the y value down here at the bottom, the y value is roughly 202 when I was tracing it. So what I'm going to do to find this a little bit more accurately, I'm just going to trace back off of this point of intersection. And to find the exact point of intersection with the graphing calculator, we're going to use an intersect function underneath the second calc screen. So we're going to go second calc, which is second trace, and I'm going to arrow down to 5 intersect, and I'm going to choose intersect. Whoops, went too far here. I'm going to choose intersect, and I'm going to hit enter. So the first thing it asked me to do is for my first curve. So I can get on the point of intersection. I don't have to get exactly on, but notice that I am on the first curve because up here it says y1 equals 300 divided by 1 plus 24e raised to the negative 0.2x power. So that's my first curve. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter on my first curve. And then my second curve, when it asked me for my second curve, notice that up here it says y2 equals 200. So I know that I'm on my second curve. So again, if I need to trace with the left and right arrow keys, I could actually get a little bit better on the guess, but you don't have to be right on it. As long as you're on the second curve, you're okay. So if I hit enter, and then it says guess, so it needs me to hit enter again. So if I hit enter again, then it gives me my exact point of intersection is 19.356, and then y equals 200. So when we go back to the story problem, find out how many days until the school closes. The school would close in approximately 19 days because if we would round 19.35, we would round it to 19.